Okay, so Jamie, Kevin, my lovely husband. I don't even know exactly. I guess it's been almost a month and a half since we started treatment.
3 months.
No, 2 months.
Started January.
Yeah, January.
Now it's March.
It's like March 7th. Anyway, so it's been a moment, and well, I can breathe. That's one thing you could probably notice right away, and so I can tell you it's been a very intense journey. Of just first it was about kind of managing the symptoms that were happening, teaching me the tools to be able to manage them at home so I can continue to breathe throughout the week, continue to go to work and do the dishes and kind of start building my tasks that I was able to kind of functionally perform every day and kind of get through each day.
And cut onions.
And cut onions. I can chop vegetables now, without losing my breath or going into a mental panic. So what sort of began to transpire was all this chaotic chorus of symptoms that were kind of calling out to me at all moments of every day became sort of pieced out. The ones that, were more secondary, like, okay, my shoulder hurts, but that's not why I can't breathe, right? So all the secondary ones kind of began to quiet down, and I began to be able to listen and understand what my body was trying to tell me. So that was a huge win.
Yeah.
So then I can do, a certain stretch or, take a moment and do something or go in for a snuggle or, whatever I needed at a given moment. So I've noticed, besides being more of a functional human, and having the appearance of all this success that you see before you, is that I can feel my brain growing and my capacity to understand my emotions and the emotions of others, to be able to discern when I needed to, I was called to action as a caretaker because someone else was having an emotion versus just this chaotic feeling inside of me, this buzzing inside of me that something was wrong. So I can kind of just feel more whole and less distracted by all this energy and these weird sensations that I'm having. So that's really nice. When you have your loved one needing something but not telling you what it is, or sometimes telling you what it is that they need, and you can respond appropriately and do what they're asking and not feeling like something's wrong. What's going on in my life, in my mind? So,
Kevin, what have you noticed with Jamie?
A lot. There's a lot to notice just in how she's been speaking just now compared to the first time that we were here. She's able to articulate a lot better, and her tolerance for all these strange sensations, discomforts, and pain eventually morphed into pain. I mean, when we first started coming here, she couldn't feel anything.
I was just too overwhelmed to feel pain.
Yeah. And so, which is ridiculous.
It's a crazy sentence.
Which is ridiculous, but here we are. And so, I mean, it's kind of hilarious when one of your major breakthroughs is, oh my God, I can finally feel pain again. Like, but that was literally what it was, and it was this like synaptic disassociation that she had for so long seemed to kind of finally snap back into place, and she was able to put to point to what was hurting. Oh, this is a problem spot, as opposed to being like, I can't tell because everything is just a waterfall of sensations. It's like, I mean, in my mind, for you, the way I pictured it was literally you were sitting under a waterfall, like a big, heavy duty waterfall, and it was just crushing every part of you. You couldn't tell what was doing what.
Yeah, it
and
was like molecular pain.
Yeah, man, it was wild. So yeah, Dr. David, he was able to alleviate that, and once that was gone, then we were able to like target specific areas of interest, shall we say, particularly areas that had seen some pretty intense injuries a few years ago that turned out to probably be some keystone injuries as far as this whole experience is concerned. Those injuries were hidden beneath the waterfall of sensations, and so we had no idea. Oh, she's got the rib thing going on over here, and once she was able to identify, oh my God, like my ribs are what are causing this to twist that way and this to twist that way, and my body to warp that way. Then we were able to work with that. Dr. David was able to get in there and crush the living hell out of you, and then reforge you anew, like from clay. And so, and it's a trying process. I mean, that's the thing with calibration that I've observed, is that it is very much a process. It's not a light switch, like some folks might have thought.
I was thinking that my healing would be like somebody would find the right spot to press on my body, and then everything would be better. And it was like a light.
Wouldn't that have been nice?
Yeah.
I'll swallow that pill. But yeah, like what Kevin's saying is it's a mental game, it's an emotional game. It takes a lot of fortitude for me to enter into the calibration process.
Mental, physical, emotional, fortitude across the board.
Because it's just so much harder to keep suffering than to try to do some homework that he tells you to do. It's so much easier when someone tells you, look, I have a plan, just do this. And I did it. I didn't want to not do it. It was just very hard to do. But
and it's also playing the waiting game too. Like,
I hate waiting. I'm not a patient person. And
that's the thing with the calibration, is it takes a little while to settle in, and so you have to accept that this is going. Dr. David did this and this and this and this and this, and it feels great right now, but tomorrow you're probably going to feel like not that great, and that's okay. Like, you just have to continue to do what he told you to do. Go on the walks, do the stretches, just keep living your life. And the thing with calibration is it like reorganizes your brain, and it's like all the way that you were living your life prior to being calibrated was so completely bananas. And so what calibration essentially did was it was like, oh no, like, hang on, brain, you need to go this direction, and your brain fights you the whole freaking way over there.
Yeah, because so your brain learns to protect you when you experience traumatic events or injuries. Your brain's like, oh, that big toe doesn't want to work anymore. That's fine. You got elbows. Let's walk with those.
Yeah.
You wonder why you're hurting so bad, but your brain is telling you like, oh, we don't need that toe. She's old news.
Walking on elbows is great. You're gonna love it, I swear.
And then you're like, well, why does my neck hurt worse? Why can't I breathe? And you literally twist yourself into a pretzel, even though you look reasonably upright.
Now, Kevin, since she's been through this program,
yes,
do you feel that the Jamie that you used to know has reemerged, or do you feel that maybe she's even a new person? Not personality-wise, but just
forged anew. Like, I think she's getting there. I think we have reached a point where she was, when we first came here, she was like unrecognizable, essentially, which is why we were so desperate for help. And I think you've come to a point now where it's like, oh, there's the Jamie that I fell in love with 10, 11 years ago. Like, there you are. And obviously you're still going through the motions, and you're still having your hard days. There's still going to be hard days, but you're meeting them with grace and fortitude and tenacity. And you're like, damn, this is a hard day. Okay, like, I'm ready for it. Like, you're like, you batten down the hatches and you're like, okay, let's get through it. Whereas, when we first came in here, a hard day meant the end of the world. Like, a hard day was hours spent lying on the floor, staring at a ceiling, in between bouts of weeping, like, uncontrollably. Like, that was what it was. and so now Jamie's like, oh, like, today's tough. My back is kind of tight. My chest is tight. I'll go to work. That'll distract me. I'll feel better. Like, there's this fortitude that you have. That's what I fell in love with when I first met you. Was like, you were just so strong, and it's like seeing that strength get like yanked away from you was like so like heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking, dude. And so that's why I've been like gung ho about getting you back there, because I know you've got it in you, dude, and you're proving that, and you're back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap up, what do you think about, tell people, do you think they should go through this program, and why?
The answer is yes. If you are struggling with anxiety, PTSD, chronic pain, uncertainty, emotional problems, psychological problems, anything that would induce suffering, because the calibration not only helps you improve your bodily movements and your ability to breathe, it actually reaches somewhere else deep inside of you. Knew it was gonna happen.
It was gonna happen.
Camera started rolling over there.
We'll made it to the end of the video.
Only one tissue used today, though.
It's
a new record.
How can I best describe? You can relieve the pressure that suppressed your personality, but also you can kind of just recognize all of the ways that you've been living not at your best. And once you see them, it's like, oh, well, why don't I just stop doing that thing that I've been doing, that stop leaving the drawer open that I bonked my knee into, and then, little things. And conversationally, physically, I feel more patient, and I feel like I'm having a dialogue with myself sometimes, and it's nice to just be alone in a room with myself with my feet up and the music on, and it's like, it's a nice feeling to be by myself.
Comfortable in your own skin again. Yeah.
And there's something inside of me that wants to help heal other people, and kind of share what I've learned, and it's like spread the good news, like, hey, you don't have to keep suffering.
That's awesome. Well, thank you both for sharing this time with us.
Thank you. You've been great.
All right, say bye.
Toodles.
Bye.
That was great.